Hello, so this video is Agents of Change, Failing School versus Community Education in America. Um, Once again, this is part of my Black History Month, so let's get started.
All power to the people! 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 Today, when you step outside of these doors, you must realize that you are fighting a war against 400 years of racism, of oppression. You are on the front lines. You are an agent of change. You are an agent of change.
On the table, we have a variety of guns. We threw them in just so that people understand, the small window of what's out there in the big world. But you and I are going to focus on the Glock. It's the most ubiquitous gun out there. Most police departments use it. But whatever gun you want to learn how to use, the door is open. We'll teach you whatever you want.
I used to tell all my teachers, you're gonna get paid if I learn or not, so why is you really caring if I really learn or not? Because you're gonna get paid no matter what. I'm not stopping your paycheck.
Keep the fingers together. You're going to squeeze your hand in and make sure your finger stays off the trigger. Rotate the gun to this position and then make sure you set your hand in properly.
Okay.
So what you want to do is open the hand and express this part, the webbing, and that'll go right in here. Boom, just like that. You grip, and keep it straight. Now, you want to grip the gun with the firmness of a good handshake, no more than that. Okay. All right? So just a firm handshake.
My name is Taylor Frome, and I'm the executive director and founder of Yes Philly, which is a school that works with young adults who've dropped out of Philadelphia schools and are trying to finish high school. So they come to us because they want to finish their education. The age 16 to 21, which is the age that we work with, young people are deciding who they want to be, and they're deciding if they want to change, if they want to be not like their parents, not like their neighbors, not like they come from very rough communities, and this is a time when a lot of them are making decisions about who they're going to be as adults. If you're living in poverty and everyone around you is living in poverty, it's hard to understand why you should get up in the morning, go to school every day, or try to find a job and then go to that job every day and do things that are not necessarily fun or interesting. And this is not about the students or about the parents even, but there's a lot of history of people being incarcerated. There has been and still is a lot of drug abuse in Philadelphia. And I think if you live in poverty and without hope, it's very hard to dig yourself out of that. It's very hard to do the things that you need to do.
So what you doing after you graduate?
After I graduate, I'll probably go to Atlanta, push some music. I don't even care if I gotta go out there homeless though. Just on the simple fact.
But with that, bro, college, you think you could do college? Honestly. Not really.
Not really, just cause of financially where we come from.
Growing up on the streets that we grew up on, we realized that at 12, 13? Yeah, we had been around gunshots, people getting murdered, drugs all our life.
As soon as we walk out of this building, right, any media news outlet can begin to start taking pictures or video of anything that we're doing. We can't stop them from doing that. What that means is everything that we do, people will be watching. So that means if you have headphones in your ears, if you're throwing trash on the ground, if you're pushing and shoving each other and goofing around, all of that can get twisted.
We are in several schools, Nelson Mandela School in Brooklyn, South Bronx Community Charter High School in the Bronx. That's our youth coalition. We were in there every day for the last 3 weeks, teaching these kids about racism, teaching these kids about police brutality, teaching these kids about taking pride in who they are, teaching these kids that they have the power, all the power is in the people, that they have the power to effectuate change. This is what we taught.
The world will be looking at you to see what you have to say about police brutality. Are you prepared? Yeah. Are you prepared? Yeah. Are you prepared? Yeah. To tell them what? Yeah. That Black Lives Matter. 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 Black Lives
What's up with you, ugly? What's up, Pop? This is my friend Beezy. Beezy, that's my dad. He knows the neighborhood. You lived in this same neighborhood for 52 years. How do you live in the same neighborhood for 52 years?
We had a big riot here in '63, and we really tore up the city. So we're really not, never really came back from that. The blacks around here always struggled school-wise, gang war-wise. We always had problems. During the '60s, it was a lot of drinking. It wasn't a lot of drug-ridden problems. The drug-ridden problems didn't hit us until really in the '70s. The '70s was a lot of different drugs hit us real bad. The heroin really came about. In the '70s, we was really trying to get back from what we did in the '60s, tearing up the city. Then in the '80s, the money was flowing. The kids was getting what they needed, the schools and all. Everybody was getting jobs and all here. It was still touch of trying to survive. It started out with gang war, but we stopped gang war and started having drug wars. And drug wars was developed from them, they was making money off the crack. They would fight for, stuff on the corners. The main thing is that they start shutting down the schools and start giving the kids different activities. Like they took out the gym out of the school. They took out the different activities for the kids to do. They don't have football and baseball games and stuff like that to go to. We had a chance to excel by the sports. They had Jim, the best basketball player. He was looked up to, and he was admired by the different people in the school. When they did that, they don't do that much in school no more. They don't give you a chance to excel, to show, liability. The kids, they don't want to go just to learn social science, math, and all. They want to learn a little more than that in school and do a little bit more.
Let's go! Black Lives Matter!
So we asked students in the spring how many of them knew, could put their hands on a gun within 24 hours. And almost every student in the school felt that they could get their hands on a gun within 24 hours. My students are not buying guns, but they know that their uncle has a gun and they know where it is, or they know that they know somebody who has a gun and they know where it is. So when I say they could put their hands on a gun, I'm not saying they could buy one.
What do we want? Justice! What do we want it? Now! What do we want? Justice! What do we want it? Now! If we don't get it, shut it down! If we don't get it, shut it down! If we don't get it, shut it down! I said if we don't get it, shut it down! What do we want? Justice! What do we want it? Now!
Good afternoon. I want to introduce Maj Toure. Some of you met him this summer. He did a workshop on Black Guns Matter this summer, and he's here again to talk to us today.
Yep. What's up, y'all?
Hi.
What are y'all painting, though?
Painting the room for downstairs.
Oh, really? Wow.
That's really gonna help with your hand-eye coordination and your forearm strength.
You get your mind on one thing all the time. I'm looking and going, this is art. I mean,
think about it. Look.
But guns aren't the answer to everything. No. Art has a place too.
Hitting a target 100 yards away with little rockets and a small target is an art.
Maj came last year, the summer work ready program. He was a great help. He had a great aspect on what guns was. I love the way he had broke down what guns was to us. He had told us that he was in the Black Lives Matter group. He was here to talk to us about guns. He had brought in a man, Mr. Yogi, from a gun store that's down the street on Broad and Girard. So he came in, he talked about guns and showed us what was a gun used for and how to take apart a gun and what is the proper ways to hold and holster and clean your gun. He had showed us that. I found that was very helpful, but then at the same time, I had to tell him that I didn't find out that was something meant for every student. Because some students found it as a joke, found it playful, but Maj was a great help because he didn't swerve away from those students. He stayed on his goal. I'm here to help the kids talk about guns. He broke down guns better than anybody ever broke down guns to me. I haven't been interested in guns for the last 5 years, so when he broke down guns, he had some very good points.
All right, so while y'all painting, Black Guns Matter, y'all know is a wait, y'all gotta at least look, for a second. Black Guns Matter is a firearm safety and training organization. We basically go to areas where there's high ignorance, high crime, things like that, and just inform people about how to be more safe and responsible firearm owners. Has anybody in here ever held a firearm, been experienced, exposed to violence and things like that?
I held a firearm before, but I ain't this is the bottom of the age.
Yeah. Don't tell yourself if you shot somebody.
No, I'm messing with
you. Have you had any experience with firearms?
Like shooting them, or
just in general?
Or being.
Can I see the right? I've seen a lot of things though. Like I seen my dad pass away.
Yeah.
He got shot 7 times in the face. I seen a couple people get shot down Girard. Gerard. I've held firearm because my dad and my grandfather works for the Navy.
Yeah.
And they served up overseas, so they showed us the weapons and stuff and showed us how to fire.
It's a really important issue in our community. People are dying, and there's a lot of shooting going on, and a lot of it is because people are not thinking it through. The people who are in their communities that are doing that need to come and talk to them and share with them about their lives and advise them about their lives. So ongoing, and mentor them. I mean, I think our students all need mentors in the community. I think the community is full of people who are, I think actually the most important icons are the ordinary people who just have figured out how to have a good life and are working, have families, have a house. Because I think one of the problems and I've been working with this population for 25 years, and I think one of the problems is that it's only the famous people are not the right people to be using as your models, because very few people are going to become stars. And that's, if you're lucky and that happens, that's great. But for the rest of the population, figuring out what the balance is, how to have work that you're satisfied with and that pays your way and that keeps you, in a house, how to have friends, those are really important skills that need to be modeled.
We stand here today because Black Lives Matter. We stand here today because we want to make sure that we energize the next generation to take on that task that a Medgar Evers was assassinated for, what a Dr. King was eliminated for, what a Emmett Till was killed for, what a Kai Gurley was hung for, what Eric Garner was choked out for, what Ramarley Graham was shot down for. See, the reality of what we're living with here in 2017 isn't much different than what was happening in 1817. No. When it comes to relationships between the black and white community, when it comes to the relationship of law enforcement in the community.
Fight the power! 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 Let's go!
And we worked with them on laws, on policy that they could push. We also worked with them to organize a march.
Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!
They did everything from media, press relations, to outreach. They reached out to all the elected officials within New York City. Logistics, they helped plan the route. Marshaling, they helped keep each other safe. They created signs. There was a lot of beautiful things that these children did, but we're teaching them how to fight.
What do we want? When do we want it? What do we want? When do we want it?
And when you think about the skills they develop, media relations, communications, these are skills that they could take to college and into corporate America.
As a young, innocent black kid, I want to know, am I next?
These are the careers they want to pursue. We're teaching them about law. These kids will have something, they'll have a leg up on all other kids in their situations who want to become lawyers. Right now, we're about to write out legislation, okay, that we will go and lobby for in the state capitol in Albany, down at City Hall. These kids are a part of history, and it's important that we make them part of the fight, but give them a way to foster the change that they want to see, help them create solutions. They are the future. These kids are the future of the city, and we are helping them to get to where they need to be.
So who cooking?
I hate
You. Like you haven't cooked in a minute.
I cooked yesterday.
Right.
I'm about to say I cooked yesterday, but I didn't.
I got 2 pieces of steak again in here.
And what else?
Man.
I got the beef. I don't want no beef. Try the beef. Yeah, I got that.
That's it. Cause basically we go shopping tomorrow. All the food is gone.
I had asked a teacher that one day. I had said, Miss, why don't we get homework no more? The reason is we don't get homework is they don't feel like doing the work. If you got 40 kids to a classroom, you got grade 40 kids' papers, tests plus homework, they say, oh, we ain't gonna get around to all that, so we just not gonna do it. No, we need the education. Y'all should be able to do that for us, not say, oh, we don't feel like doing it. I couldn't blame the teachers because at the time that homework had got cut out of school, the school district was having budget cuts. It's not every day that you see a kid that be like, all right, I'm gonna go to school, I'm gonna do what I gotta do, and I'm gonna make sure my family get out the hood. I'm gonna make sure I'm going to school for a reason. It's not a lot of times you see that. A lot of people just think, school is something, I gotta get out the way so my parents hop off my back, or my mom and my dad stop saying something, I gotta get out their house. How we had African teachers and Arabic teachers that did not speak perfect English, but you got them teaching a literacy class. I can't understand what they saying, so how are you teaching reading? But that's just because of the school district budget cuts. They were just trying to fit the classroom at the right times, the right place. I understood that. Y'all just trying to make people education. But y'all can't try to educate people if the person that's in the classroom don't know the knowledge themselves. They learning how we learn it.
Who the is this? Hello! What is this?
That's a top striptease club for the girls. You know, the girls do their dance. Drugs, you can get drugs too, anything you want. From cocaine, heroin. Everybody have a different, venue as far as things they do. Hustlers upscale, Club Pussycat, Red Room, got a Lust on this side here. I don't want to be on film over here, but you know. No, I can't do over here. I do over here. I can't do over here. Because it's a lot of gangsters.
Yeah, it's a lot of gangsters.
Different set.
No.
You can't act as a police officer without probable cause. Even if you see somebody who looks suspicious, they're doing something suspicious, you can't necessarily do a lot about it unless you see them doing something specific. So you may see somebody standing out and it's really cold out and they're alone and you're wondering what they're doing, but you really can't search them or anything like that. Typical things that you might be looking for are people who are out in cold weather or in odd parts of the city. You could observe them from a distance if they can't see you. He's under the saloon there. He's at a bar. He's standing outside, and people inside may know that if you want anything, go outside and see that guy and pick it up and take it back in. But chances are he's not going to be dealing on the street if he is outside of a bar, if he has any connection to the bar, because the best way to deal in a bar situation is in the men's room. This guy here, let's give him a good look. And he's looking back. That's good. If you are in uniform, if you're in a cruiser, he knows that you saw him, so he may decide not to be doing any more business tonight. He is standing there in the dark, and why? And again, it's a constant loop around, whether it's 5 minutes later or 20 minutes later, you're coming back around again. Now what is he up to? If you're in uniform, if you're in a cruiser and he knows you're a cop, probably less danger. If he knows you're a cop, if you're in uniform, he knows that you saw him, he knows that you saw him standing there, and you may come back around, and he better not be holding anything, he better not be in the middle of dealing anything like that. If you're working undercover, you really don't want to be seen, you don't want to make eye contact with the guy unless you want to make some sort of a deal with him. You certainly don't want to make him suspicious, although you might want to make eye contact in terms of giving him the idea that you want something. This pizza shop here, that could be, depending upon how late that's open, that pizza shop could be a place where people are going to congregate. They're going to go there late at night, place that's open 24 hours a day, or very, very late. That's where people are going to go after the bars, and they may want to keep the party going a little bit. So that would be a good place to sell.